Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. It's Samantha back here with another video, and if you're new here, welcome to the northwest of England, where I usually give my subscribers and my beautiful viewers a good idea of what the weather's doing. Typical Brit, we always have to talk about what the weather's doing, and today it's pretty overcast. So we've had our few days of sun and now it's overcast again, so thanks British weather. So welcome to my channel, where we make just very beautiful, very simple pieces of jewellery with a very good nod to the simplistic and the elegant, I hope. So today we're going to make these little cuties. I love bar earrings. I think they're very elegant and they look very beautiful in the ear. Elongate the neck. If you're anything like me and your face is melting, I'm in my mid-50s and my face is melting a little bit now, so I'm turning into a hag. Anyway, these lovely longish earrings can help to elongate the face, and they're very elegant next to the face. So we're going to make these today. Hello Glory, you'll hear the pitter-patter of my doggy's feet coming in now. Hi Glory. You're going to come and sit next to me, sunshine? Come on then. So we're going to make these today. All right, it's really simple to make, and you don't need very many materials for them. All right, so I'll just pop these to one side and we'll go through a list of materials. Okie doke. So you're going to need, for the frame, literally very easy, 1mm, that's 18 gauge copper wire, or any wire of your choice. Silver would look beautiful, and equally gold tone or gold plated copper, anything like that. For the wrapping of the beads, you're going to need 0.4. I believe that to be 26 gauge, correct me if I'm wrong. So you're going to need some of that. You're also going to need just a little ruler, because we're going to be doing a little bit of measuring, a little marker pen, obviously for marking. You're going to need some flush cutters, obvious reasons, a pair of your very favourite flat nose, chain nose pliers. You will need either a pair of round nose pliers, or in my case, I like to use the 6-step bail makers. This is a 2 to 9 increment plier, just for your information. You're going to need some ear wires. I make my own, and there are plenty of wonderful people here, some wire benders on YouTube, and you can find out how to make your own. And you're going to need some beads. So let me just have a quick chat about beads. The way I've designed these is that I have sat the beads on top. Oops, focus please, thank you. I've sat the beads on top of the wire. Okay, so you can use, I would suggest seed beads for this design. I think you could probably get away with rounds, but I think seed beads sit a little nicer on top of the frame. Okay, so these particular ones are 5/0s. You see how they sit on top of the frame? These ones are 6/0s. All right, so you can get away with 5/0s, 6/0s, you possibly even let's have a think, 5, 6, maybe 8s. Perhaps you could probably get away with 8/0s, but we're going to be replicating this chap today because I absolutely love these beads and I am fast running out of them, so I'm going to make the partner to this one today. All right, so either 5/0s, 6/0s, or any beads of your choice. I'm going to be using these today. All right, so I'll clear the table away. I'll stop waffling, as I always do, and we'll get going on these lovely earrings. All right, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Righty-ho, so we're back. Let's go ahead and make the partner to this beautiful thing here. What we're going to do is to start with our 1mm copper wire. That's 18 gauge, I think, for you guys who use gauges. So just give it a bit of a stretch. And I'm going to be using centimetres today, but, you know, I'll try and remember the inch equivalents for you guys that use inches. So cut off 15 centimetres, that's just short of 6 inches of wire. All right, that's for each earring. All right, so here we have our length of wire. You need to find the center. Let me just get rid of those. Find the center, which is, come on, mental maths, Sam, 7.5. 7.5 centimeters. All right, so if you want to, you can put a little spot with your marker here. I tend to do that because I'm just a bit absent-minded, and if I put it down, I need to know where the center is. All right, so quick tip about how to fashion the bottom of your earring piece here. Now, obviously some beads are wider than others, so my best advice is to come in with your bead and find your bead. All right, and come in with your chain nose pliers. Now, this here is the width of the bead. What you want to do is just slightly bigger than the width of the bead is where you want to put your wire, your pliers on your wire. All right, so if you can see here, I'll probably place the wire about here. You can mark it if you want to, because what you want to do is to make this bottom piece of the wire just slightly larger than the bead, not too much, because when we're wrapping, it will draw the wires in a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to that point. So I'm going to hold it about here. So you bend that one up and bend this one up. All right, so that we have this affair here. All right, now don't worry about all of this splaying out at the moment. It all comes good in the end. So just tighten that up slightly, square it up slightly, and this is what we have. Okay, so the next part, you'll need to come back in with your ruler and your marker pen, because we want to be marking 4 centimeters up, which is what, about 1.5 inches, give or take. You can make these as short or as long as you like, actually. All right, so if you wanted to make them quite long, you just need a bit of extra wire here. You wanted to make them a little shorter, you know what I'm saying, guys. So we'll just measure on the 4 centimeter mark and just pop a little mark. Okay, can you see those 2 little marks there? Let's get rid of these. Righty-ho. So the next thing we need to do is to bend these 2 wires in opposite directions. All right, so let me start with this one. So just under where you've marked, you want to bend this guy like so, and come on to the next part here, this wire here, just under the black mark, and bend that in the opposite direction, so that you have this. Okay, so you've got literally a rectangle with a wing at either side. All right, now then, come back in with your ruler. Now, when I make the hoops on the top of my earrings, I use the second step on my plier, which is 3 millimeters. All right, so you can, world's your oyster, as I always say. You can do whatever you like here, but I know that to make a loop here with the 3 millimeter increment, it's about 1.5 centimeters I need to cut off. So I place my piece along the ruler here, and I get my cutters and I cut off, flush cut at about 1.5 centimeters. All right, and then do the same for the other side. So place it here and then just cut off around about 1.5 centimeters. There's a little bit of leeway here because we do a bit of squeezing and a bit of fettling in a minute. Fettling is a really good northern word. I'm not sure if there's any other parts of Britain that use the word fettle. I'm sure there might be, but anyway, it's very northern England, guys. So fettling. So all we do now is we want to make a loop the opposite direction to which the piece of wire is going here. So you bend it away from yourself essentially. So holding it relatively tight here, to bend it around this guy here. All right, turn it and do the same. Don't worry if it's slightly offset at this point, it doesn't matter. Do the same on the other side. So bend, bendy, bendy, round and round. All right, so if you find that it's slightly offset, that's absolutely fine. Just come back in with your pliers and give things a little bit of a tweak. So there we have, you see, we've got a lovely rectangular bar with a double hoop at the top. So that's your frame made. All right, so let's bring in our next wire. You can get rid of these now. Come on then, Glory, you come and sit next to me. Come on, come on. Oh, I'm gonna have to buy this dog some stairs soon. He's struggling to jump up these days, aren't you, bud? Right, so we'll bring in our 0.4 26 gauge, I think that is. You're going to need, I'm going to say, about 50 centimetres. So what's that in inches? Oh, I can't work it out. Work it out for yourselves. Let's have a think. 15, 45, 30 is 12. About 18 inches maybe, something like that. You're going to need a decent piece because we have to go around the wraps twice. As I always say, it's better to have too much than not enough. There's nothing worse than not having enough wire. Or enough of anything, actually. Chocolate, yeah? Okay, so we want to wrap the bottom about 3 times. All right, so you go around and through. And pull tight, around and through. And pull it tight. All right, so, and then you just give it a bit of a squeeze with your nails or your pliers, whichever. And then this guy wants to come up the middle like so. You see that? This is where we bring our beads in, okay, because we're replicating this little chap here. Let's get these gorgeous. I'm running out of these beads. I bought them from a store on Etsy, actually. But sadly, the lady doesn't have these mixes anymore. At least she hasn't done for a while, which is a bit of a shame because she makes some beautiful mixes. But anyway, if I can remember who it was, I will put the link down in the description box for you. She's based in London, I think, but I know that she does post worldwide. So if you like these particular mixes that I use, I'll try and remember. Anyway, let's get some of these gorgeous little beads on to our wire. So when we get to it, I'll give you a little bit of a tip about how many of these beads you need to put on. So let's keep going. A little white. Let's have a think. 1, and then one of these pretty green ones. No, a bit dark, I think. Let's have a think. Another pink. There we go. So when you get to this point, you want to bring them down. Now, bit of a tip for you here is that you don't want to fill your frame. What you need to do is when you think you've got enough on, take one off. Because trust me, you're going to need a little bit of space at the top. Now that looks like too much space, but I promise you it's not. Because as we wrap, obviously we're going to be having 2 wraps in between each of the beads, so the beads spread out a little bit. So when you're putting whatever beads you've got on, if you think you've got enough, take one off, and you'll know what I mean when you do this yourself, okay? So if you sort of spread your beads out a little bit with a tiny bit of space in between, you'll be able to gauge whether you've got too many or not enough. And that should be about right, all right? So just move these guys out the way. So the next thing we need to do, you want to feed this wire through these 2 loops here. So I've probably got a little bit too much wire here, but never mind. So being careful not to kink the wire, because this 0.4 26 does actually kink a little bit, I think. It's sort of, if you're not careful, very, very tightly and taut, you need to then bring the wire back through not the hoop, but this part of the frame. Because you're just simply attaching the wire to the loops at the top. So keeping that nice and tidy at the top. Hopefully it won't kink up. There we go, that's fine. All right, so as you can see here, we've attached the wire at the top with these beads free flowing for now. Now, don't worry about the width of this a little bit, because we're going to be sitting the beads up top, and as we wrap, these two 1mm wires draw in a little bit, all right? So don't worry too much. The next thing that I like to do is to do a couple of wraps up top here, okay? So all I do is wrap around the neck of these two hoops. So in between, a couple of wraps, like so. You see that? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to start to wrap these beads. Now you're going to need to push the beads up as you're going along, all right? And you'll see what I mean in a second. So from behind here, wrap. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I think I'll start it from there. So from underneath, let's have a think. What did I do on that one? Yeah. Pop your bead up over the top and over the top, like so. So you're capturing each one of these beads. But as you're doing it, push the bead up through. You see? So push the bead up through and wrap. Push the bead up. You'll hear them click into place. And just push it up against each other, like so. Keep wrapping around. Push it up. Wrap around. Can you see how that's working? And wrap around. Push the bead up. So can you see here that the more we're wrapping, the less space the beads have? So this is what I mean when I say, when you put your beads on and you think you've got enough, just take one off. Okay, so here we have our beads wrapped on. You see that? So as you can see here, hopefully, oh, look at my finger, rapper's fingers. As you can see here, the beads are sitting atop the wireframe, which is what we're looking for. Well, it's what I'm looking for anyway. That's how I've designed these. All right, so we want to go back round again. So over, so it crosses just, excuse me, ever so slightly. And then again, in between each bead, in between. Just squash these guys together a little bit. You know, you can do if you want. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. The whole point of these is that they are completely individual, and when you make yours, they'll probably look slightly different to mine, and that's the whole point of this. So you just keep wrapping around, keep wrapping around. Yeah, I've got slightly too much wire here, but you know what? It doesn't matter. And then at the top, just go around once more. If you want to go around once more or a couple of times, that's entirely up to you. So what we're aiming for is a little bit of a cluster of a wrap at the top. Okay, now then, how you secure these. There's a couple of ways to do this. You can either go through the loops again, or you can do what I do, bring this wire through a little gap in between the wires, pull tight, and then just towards the back where you'll snip off your wire and then just hide it. All right, so where did I put my cutters? Here we go. Honestly, I'm not very organized today, guys. Just give it a snip, and the end of the wire, just hide it, push it in between, and then just straighten these guys up a little bit if you need to, which I obviously did. And then you'll notice, because we've wrapped, that these wires suck in a little bit. So if you get a little bit of that going on, just give the bottom a little bit of a squeeze. And then this spare wire here, just to chop that bit off, as we would do normally. Just give it a bit of a squeeze. Squeeze and push, and that kind of thing. Just burnish it on so it's nice and tidy. And then just centre it if you need to. And there is our second little bar earring. How gorgeous are these, guys? You're going to have so much fun making these. I've made these in all sorts of different colours, different styles of bead, different sizes, that kind of thing. All right, so the last thing you need to do, if you need to just pull these guys together a little bit, that's absolutely fine. Tidy them up a little bit. So the last thing you have to do now is just to put your ear wire on. Maybe I'll do a little video one time of the ear wires that I make, but you know, there's lots more experts out there that make some gorgeous, gorgeous findings. So there we are. So how are those? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to be wearing my pearl ones today. I have a couple of appointments and I'm going to sashay into my appointments with my lovely elongated dangly earrings. And everybody will go, woo, look at Sam, she's beautiful. Okay, so have some fun making these. I'm going to go and have a coffee now and do some editing. And I will see you in my next video. And a bit of a heads up, you're going to need some Eslon cording for the next video. And also to say that if you're interested, we have a very small but friendly and wonderfully talented little Facebook group. And the guys in there just are wonderful, and we have a lovely laugh and show each other what we've been making. So if you'd like to join us, I will put a little link to my Facebook group in the description box below, and we'll hope to see you there. So have fun with these guys, and I will see you very soon. Speak soon. Bye.